Welcome back to Tiny Space Academy Part 9. We are going to tackle Mars. So we're going to get a crewed mission to Mars. We are going to land on Mars. We're going to do a medium science experiment. And that should actually, and then we have to plant a flag on Mars first. That'll take care of this mission. Then we're going to do a medium science module, and that should take care of the next mission. And then we are going to build in our ship with a large science module, and then we have to bring somebody back home, and that's going to be the tough part. So anyway, let's start this one thing at a time. So let's build our first ship here, just to basically get somebody on Mars and plant a flag and probably collect some rocks and run the medium science module, and let's just see what we can do here. So gonna try to build this rocket here, putting on 3 parachutes. Hopefully that's I guess we can repack the parachutes after we use them, but I'm wondering if 3 parachutes is gonna even be enough to land it on Mars. But we got to have our medium science module for sure, and then we'll put a couple of satellite dishes on in order to get some. Well, only one of them is going to get us extra science, but we put on 2 to have some symmetry. And by the way, I am combining all the Mars missions into this one episode. So this is going to be a longer episode. As you can see, I think it's about 47 minutes. And feel free to double speed this, skip ahead if you're bored with certain aspects. Some people love to see the rockets being made like this. Some people say, I don't like watching the rockets being made. I only want to see, the objectives being done. And it's like, well, okay. But so the way that I'm trying to build this rocket is I'm attempting to build it so that I'll have a separate stage that will just alone just be able to, this stage up here will be the stage that's coming back to Earth. That's the plan, at least. And I'll put a fairing on this thing. And so the other stage that's right below it would be the fuel tank and the engine necessary to blast off from Mars and get it back to Earth. And so it would only be used on Mars. It would not be used anywhere else. So that's kind of the plan. I'm combining putting the parachutes up there together, and basically arranging the stage. So that's kind of what it would look like. I have got, I'll detach the fairing, and then I'll deploy 2 of the parachutes. Excuse me, I yawned. 2 of the parachutes. And then the third one would be used on Earth after the decoupling. So I'm going through basically the stages right now and trying to set them up properly. Let's get the fairing down there. So just working out the stages here. we'll get one parachute, get the fairing down at the bottom. So I was going to only do one parachute for Mars and then two for Earth. So I put the decoupler on, and then now below this is where I'm going to use everything I got in order to basically get to Mars. So that's our space portion of it, and then we got our first stage. So I'm gonna just load up on these. Probably put up six fuel tanks and 3 engines, and see if that can get us there. Got tons of money. I don't really have money worries. I'll put these big, there's bigger thrusters on there. See if that can get us there. All right, so we'll put the fairing down at the bottom. We've got our 3 crew. Let's just launch this, see what happens. Feels like it's going up a little bit slow, but not too bad. It's getting us out there. It pretty much got us out to the orbit. We're just going to need to use some more fuel in order to get all the way there. We'll deploy the solar panels so we can get some energy going here. There's our fairing. We just bailed out our fairing, and then we're going to activate the medium science module here really kind of early, just to get more science. All right, so we just detached the fuel tanks, so that should reduce our mass quite a bit. We should be able to thrust pretty well here and get this thing to go out pretty quickly. Stop. Okay. That actually wasn't too bad, I think. So let's see here. So now that we're in the sun's gravity well, we can go ahead and expand that out, get that out to Mars. I'm trying to use as little fuel as possible. I'm trying to get it so that it goes just outside of Mars. There we go. Now let's speed it up. Actually, let's just turn the capsule, because we're going to need to slow this thing down once we get close to Mars. So let's slow this thing down. All right. So we have a pretty good trajectory here that we're going towards Mars. We'll go ahead and we'll put the parachute down to basically kick off next. So we do have a ways to get there. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. All right. We're going at 16x and we're getting closer to Mars. Okay, we're going to get within the sphere of influence here pretty quickly, so I'm going to slow it down. Okay. There we go. So now we're within the sphere of influence. I'm going to go ahead and slow this down. Try to shallow down this orbit. Get it to come down pretty much on Mars itself. I'm overshooting it a little bit, but now I'm in Mars orbit. Okay, so let's go around and let's try to use the least amount of fuel as possible here. And we'll slow it down some more. And that way we'll get this to come down within the atmosphere. And then we should be able to land this thing. There we go. Maybe just a little bit tighter. Don't want to actually miss it. Alright, so we'll eject that. And now we have we were gonna use we were only gonna use this part of the fuel for the return trip, but I'm gonna have to use it in order to land as well. I'm gonna put a couple of parachutes on to go because I'm already at 40 some odd meters per second, and I haven't even hit the atmosphere yet. So I'm gonna have to slow down for sure. And what I also noticed is that I'm not really gonna be able to get back. I don't even have legs on this thing. I just realized that. I don't know how I'm gonna. I can't even. I'm gonna hope that I just don't explode. Here we go. Let's just fire up the engines big time. Put the parachutes out. Let's slow this thing down. There we go. We have landed a person on Mars, and that's not looking great. But we landed 3 people on Mars. There goes one of them. She's gone out and she's planted the flag, and we've got ourselves a success. All right, so next mission is to collect the rocks and then to run the science module. So she's going to go ahead and start collecting some rocks here, and as soon as I get some power there, I'll be able to fire up the science module. I think I have enough even right now. There we go. All right, and let's get back into her, and then let's collect these rocks. Collect some Mars rocks. It's much different on Mars than it is on the moon. There is quite a bit more gravity on Mars than there is on the moon. So it's not as easy as you think. But here's our, I believe this was just our drone that we had out there that can do science and give us some science. So that's just our science station, and she's trying to actually jetpack over this thing. On the moon, it's simple. She's got to just floor it and get it over. There she goes. All right. She got that rock. Good. What's this? Unique biological specimen. Well, that's interesting. Don't believe those exist on Mars. It's okay. This game is just for fun and games. But we got one more rock to collect. There we go. We just collected it. Might as well go ahead and get this one too while we're at it. Now we just need the science module to finish up, and we should be able to complete this mission and get some more money and some more science. So that's cool. Ah, here's another one. Great. So as soon as this science module's done, we will complete this mission. And then we have the tough one, which is getting a large rocket, a large module, a large science module to get to Mars and to bring somebody back. There we go, mission complete. We have finished that mission. And we got $1,750 and 125 science. So that sets us up pretty nicely for this next mission here, which is, you know, the research outpost. We gotta get a large science module, and basically get that thing fired up on Mars, and we will complete that mission. And then this one is to do an EVA, and then bring them back safely. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna research this fuel tank, which is a bigger fuel tank. It's got 140 fuel. And I'm not going to do that medium adapter, but am I going to do this, the medium vacuum engine? No, but I think I'm going to do this one to get more power, the medium rocket engine, to get more power when taking off. It's got a lot more thrust. There we go. And as for science, I think this one gives 100% bonus, but the research is 165. That seems like a lot. So I'm just not going to do that one. All right, so here's our fuel tank. So that one is a much bigger tank now. And I've got that large module now on this capsule. And I'm gonna put these large fuel tanks on here. And what I need to do is move this rocket, this whole thing. I gotta get this thing higher. There we go. All right, so now we've got, we're going to put 6 fuel tanks there. So that's going to weigh quite a bit. And so we're going to use those medium thrusters on the bottom of this thing to get this thing out of the atmosphere and get it on a pretty good trajectory there. All right, let's see here. We got 1 crew. We only need 1 really to do it. I've got some legs this time, which is nice. So so that's the good part. The bad part is that I haven't really effectively used I needed another battery is basically what I need. I mean, if I don't have another battery, I won't even be able to run that large science module. So I got to put a small battery on there, and now I'll have over 500 power. Let's see this fairing that looks pretty good. All right, so we'll connect this rocket up. But before I do that, I'm a little concerned regarding this, that I'm using 2 of those fuel tanks for 180 when I probably could just be using, you know, one of them for, you know, it would be less weight. Or I could actually use 3 of them and then put more engines underneath it. And yeah, it's going to be more weight, but I might need that extra fuel just to get that person back. Because I mean, and you know what? I can fit actually all of the astronauts in this in the module plus the capsule, the large science module plus the capsule. I can actually fit 5 people total. So I can get everybody back if this mission goes well, and that would be pretty cool, to say the least, if that's possible. All right, we're going to put these decouplers together. There we go. So now we have, that's all on one stage, and then this one's all on another stage. And then we'll put the legs back on, because that's actually what's going to be landing. And then I'll use those same fuel tanks to basically take them back to Earth. So instead of launching, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to research this large parachute, because maybe that can slow me down even more so. And that's kind of critical, because it seems like I'm getting into Mars, and it's going very fast, because I just don't have a lot of fuel to like slow it down. So I'm just looking through the different options here and seeing if there's anything else that may be able to help me. But I'm thinking at this point, the parachutes are probably going to help me the most, just to slow this thing down. So let me get to the accessories here, and then stick on some large parachutes. First thing I got to do is take off this small one. Oops. I didn't quite want to do that. Here, let me just turn that thing back around. That looks kind of off kilter a little bit. A little tilted. It's the leaning rocket. I guess that's probably about okay. So let's get this small parachute, dump that, put a large one on the top. I'm not sure how aerodynamic that is, but it doesn't, I mean, for me, I don't know if it really matters. I'm just going to try to land this thing. So let me take these parachutes off, these small ones, and let me just replace those with the large ones. Let's connect that one. There you go. And we'll turn it. Looks like it's overlapping a little bit, but it'll probably work. Now let's do the same thing over here. Put that thing on, and then turn it. There we go. And then let's put some more on the top of these. And let's get all these things together. I think we should get them all together in one. I think that's the top one. Let's see. Yeah. Let's move. Let's keep that there, and let's move the fairing all the way down to the bottom. I can blow that fairing off first. And then, as for these other 4 parachutes, I think I can put them all together and then deploy those all at the same time. Hopefully that can slow us down enough to actually land nice and gently and not have to use up a ton of fuel. Yeah, I definitely don't want to deploy those parachutes when I have all those other fuel still on there. So let's move the order around and do there we go. That's a much better order. So I've got one person in here. There's my rocket info. I just don't think I'm going to have enough thrust. So I'm going to put on a couple of more fuel tanks and a couple of more engines. So let me put on a couple of more engines here. There we go. Now let's take a look. Yeah, see our thrust ratio is a little bit over 2.0, so that's pretty high. I mean, it's definitely going to get up, and it's just blowing through fuel, as you can see, very quickly. But it did get us up there pretty good. So let's go ahead and decouple. Let's get the fairing out of there, and then let's fire up the other engines. Okay, that's not too bad. We still have quite a bit of fuel remaining, and we have to get basically towards Mars here, and we're gonna need to, at this point, we have our orbit, so we're gonna deploy the solar panels, and then here we're going to go ahead and just, now we're in the sun sphere of influence, and then we're going to widen this orbit out to try to get it to intercept Mars. Still have 240 fuel. Okay. So we're going in to intercept Mars here. This is our rocket. This is what we're rolling with now, and we've got our solar panels deployed. We've got our parachutes ready. We've got the legs retracted now, and so that's what we're going to try to land on Mars and bring back. So, and of course, use the large science module. We'll need to bring over one of our other astronauts in order to fire up the large science module, because you need 2 people to activate that. So let's quickly speed up time here. Let's turn this rocket around a little bit. Okay, so let's speed up time a little bit more here, and our rocket's turning just slightly. And now we're getting close to Mars. So this is where we're going to need to start braking and try to bring this thing down nice and easy. So I've got the throttle up just a little bit, or like 11%, and you can see that it's taking our speed down below 170, and we got to basically get down to like maybe 50 or 40 or 30 or something like that at the most on touchdown. So I got to keep on bringing this down. And once we get closer to Mars, the gravity is going to start pulling us in, which is going to speed us up, which means we're going to need to use more fuel in order to counteract it. And we still have 180 fuel, so I'm feeling pretty good about the fuel situation right now. We are getting down to like 113, 114 milliseconds. I don't have any, meters per second. I don't have any of the engines on right now. I'm just kind of letting it free fall there. I have the engines on now at 14%. I'm basically trying to get a kind of a shallow entry into Mars as best I can, so that I'm under 100 meters per second and I have 167 fuel. I'm thinking I need at least 70 or 80 fuel in order to get back, at the very least. and even then it might be a little bit difficult, but I'd like to get like 100, 120 if I could. But all right, here we go. So we're at 162 fuel, and we're down to 90, almost 90. So it's coming in pretty nice. We're at what, 95 meters per second. All right, so here we go. So I'm coming in. I've got it down to like 70 something now, but I only have 140, 130, 132, 130 fuel. I'm still using up fuel down below 120. But I am about 60 meters per second, 64, 65. There goes the parachutes. I'm down to like 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30 fuel, 20 fuel, 17 fuel. Yay! 15 fuel, 14 fuel, 13 fuel. Turn it off. All right, guess what? I'm not going to be able to bring these people back in this ship. Oh no, this is disturbing. Oh, I can land it safe now, though. I can land it pretty good and fairly soft, even on an uneven surface. But that's not really great. Now I got 4 people on Mars, and 3 of them are in this capsule that has decoupled and is just laying there. It's a science station, yes, but it's not that great of a science station. Hey, I think I'm stuck. You know what? I'm going to try to check out and see if I can put these things back together, which you won't. This is interesting. Yeah. He's looking at the view of the two pieces broken apart, never to get back together again. But basically, I need to get another person over there to run the large science module, and that's what we'll do. Luckily, I didn't land too far away. I don't believe I did from that ship. Let's see, where is it? Can't see it. Oh, there it is on the left. All right. Well, it's not even a half a planet, half a diameter away. So it's only about. Well, I mean, it's not even a full diameter away. It's not on the other side of the planet. Almost, but not quite. Anyway, let's just get closer. Yeah, without oxygen, you wouldn't really last long there, that's for sure. But Houston, do you copy? Yeah, see, and basically the situation is, Houston, is that the ship is not going to be able to take us home. That we do not have the ability to go home because, once again, we just don't have any fuel. You have not set up the mission properly, Houston. You've not put something in orbit for docking that has fuel. It's just, why are you using up try to use up all your fuel taking off on a single trajectory rather than like going into orbit, refueling, and then just decoupling or undocking and then taking it from there and using an engine that's very good in the vacuum of space. Yeah, not real smart, but this is the way that it's been funded, and we're on a budget, and we've got to just try to get these missions done. And we're not trying to be fancy here. The docking stuff, putting up other ships and all kinds of stuff. This video would be 2 hours long. It would take me all day basically to get just these missions done. And this is not the only game that I play. I mean, I've actually played Transport Fever 2. I'm going through the missions on that, and I'm on the 3rd set of missions. If you're familiar with that game, there's 3 sets of missions. And I think there's 6 missions each, so there's 18 missions in total. And so that would make me on mission 13. So I'm getting through that game. Also started playing a brand new game called Epic Palace Gnosis. And I put up the first episode on that one, the tutorial. It's a city builder resource management game. It's kind of fun. A lot of time management and clicking. It's very strategic. It's very interesting. Anyway, so we do have. It looks like we have enough people here to do the mission. So let's put them both in the science module. And then let's look at the rocket abilities and kick off the science. All right, in 5 minutes, this mission will be completed. And all we'll have left is to bring them back home. And unfortunately, with 13 fuel, this rocket ship's going nowhere. So, it's, I don't even know if it could take off very well. It's probably just not constructed. The whole construction's just not very good in terms of what it left me on Mars. All right, science done. And the mission's completed. $1,900 and 150 science. All right, so this is the rocket that I built in order to go to Mars, get back, and get a person back. I've got a small capsule, only one person's on it. I have a ton of engines here that are kicking off. I just bailed them out. They're gone. I'm just gonna try to get this thing home. So I've got 350 fuel, and I still need to basically get to Mars and get back. But I have a much lighter craft at this point, I believe, than what I had before. So I don't think I'm going to have to use that much fuel in order to do it. But I do need to use the fuel now in order to get this trajectory to get out to Mars. We're getting down in fuel already. Ugh, we're down to 212, and that's going to take us right directly into Mars. That's not much fuel already. Let me... Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can transfer... I think that probably at this point, I just want to go ahead and transfer... I'm thinking about transferring this fuel. There we go. And then decoupling these boosters, basically. There we go. It's the first time I used the side decouplers, which is kind of cool. But I've got this, so that was my plan, is I wanted to use the 70 fuel remaining to land on Mars, and then I can have 140 fuel to get back. So if I have to use some of that fuel in order to descend properly and like break my descent, then I'll do that. But I kind of set this thing up to try to just go one step at a time and not use the other engine and only use that one engine that I have there and then get rid of it before I actually land. And then that way I'll have less weight when I take off from Mars and go back to Earth. That's the plan, at least. All right, so here's the trajectory. Let's speed it up. Let's get closer. I'm going to go ahead and save it, just in case something goes wrong here. All right, let's speed it up again. Let's get this thing on a direct line. to Mars. My boosters are following me all the way down and look like they'll hit the planet. Explode on contact, of course. Alright, we're getting closer here. I got 73 fuel. Alright, I'm starting to brake a little bit here because I'm at 230 meters per second. I want to get that down. We're coming in pretty hot. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm definitely going to be using that fuel. It'd be nice to be able to see at all times what the fuel situation is. So you can do that with a fuel transfer, but let's see, there's the transfer fuel, yeah. Alright, here we go. We're slowing down to 125 meters per second. So we have 168 fuel total, which means we got 48, which is still in that one tank. And I'm going to try to get this thing down below 100 meters per second. Okay, I'm at 100 exactly right now. So I'm going to have to fire this engines up pretty good. I'm going to go full blast with it. Try to get this thing down to 60. It's at 70. Okay, I've run out of fuel in that one tank. So let me deploy the parachute and the legs. Okay, the parachutes have slowed it down to 40. Yep. Not bad. That actually worked out really well. I didn't even use one bit of that fuel tank. I just relied on those parachutes, and I had a ton of them, as you can see. I stacked them all up there, and I used them all. So I can do an EVA, and that will take care of one objective. And now the next objective is just to get it back to Earth, and I have 140 fuel in order to be able to do it. I should be able to do this. Let's see here. Alright, the engine's on. I just clicked it on because I remember I turned it off. I got to repack all my parachutes. The one thing that when you repack the parachutes, you also need to repack or redo the stage. So that's really important to know. Just FYI. So when I blasted off here, it got me out there pretty good already. I've used up a little bit over half of the fuel. I'm going to need to shallow up this. I'm going to need to shallow up this orbit quite a bit, and get it, closer to Earth. There we go. Maybe just a little bit closer. That should be within the atmosphere of Earth. So I should be able to do that. Now I'm going to need to do some braking before I get there, because I can't come in too quick, otherwise I'll just burn up in the atmosphere. So I'm going to deploy my landing legs just in case I need them to buffer my fall. All right, so I'm at 120, and I've got just a little bit under 60 fuel. So I'm going to be coming in pretty steep at this at this trajectory, which I'm actually really not kind of happy with. So I'm just fiddling with it just a little bit, just to bring it out of it just a little bit, but still be within the sphere of influence, so that I can slow it down. All right, here we're coming in, and we're gonna have to start braking here fairly soon in order to to slow us down. We're already going 240 meters per second, so yeah, we're at 250 right now. So I've got the engine starting to fire up. It's just taking me quite a bit outside the atmosphere, but now I'm bringing it back in a little bit. Well, now I'm in orbit, but I'm going to go outside the sphere, and I've only got 13 left, so whatever maneuver I make at this point, it's going to need to basically bring it within the atmosphere. So let's just try it. There we go. Okay, we're down to 8. So if I need to, fire up the engines a little bit more while in the atmosphere to slow me down, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're coming in at over 100 meters per second. Now I do have parachutes. The one thing about parachutes is after you repack them, you need to restage them. You need to put them all on the stage. Because right now, I only got one parachute on the stage. So here we go. I've shallowed it down a little bit more. I've kind of, tried to slow it down as much as I possibly can. I'm still going 240, 250. The heat damage is pretty high, but I've just fired up the engines. All right, the engine's completely gone. Here's the parachute. I'm at 100. Please deploy. Down to 60, and I'm splashed down and I'm safe. All right, mission over. $2,050, 175 points. Whew. That was... Wow, we get $507 for the recovery too, which is really cool. All right, so next mission, we're going to Venus. Here it is. We'll see you then.